Hey guys, it's Oak. I am back again with another video. This time we are going to build another sequence. This time for Beast Mastery Hunter. So let's see what we can do. I had a pretty decent sequence in Dragonflight for Hunter that I would use anytime that I played it. But due to the changes, there's a lot of things that we'll need to change on this. So let's see how we can get this started. So let's first of all open up GSE. So /GSE. We'll go to sequences, new sequence, go to our new tab. We're going to do all of this with macro text. I do want it to reset on combat, so I'll go ahead and check that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can recreate my old Beast Mastery sequence from Dragonflight. So prior to the pre-patch, I exported my sequences both for single target and AoE to a raw format. So what that means is it exports everything in this where it's laid out with the type of block, you know, what your macro text is, and so on and so forth. It sometimes lets you import information directly from the code. This is a Patreon only thing that you can do. So you need the Patreon version of Tim's GSE in order to even raw edit. But I did that prior to the pre-patch, so while you may not be able to raw edit this, you don't need to. I'm just using it because I saved some of my macro blocks from Dragonflight. So let's go ahead and start off. We want a block that's going to target enemy. We want a block that's going to do our pet abilities. Want a block that's going to do a start attack. I have a lot of stuff that I used to have at the beginning of my sequences, and in the pre-War Within version of GSE, we used to be able to do a sort of a variable, we used to be able to do a sort of variable that would put your start sequence. We would sometimes call it a key press or a key release. It was really just that in namesake. It didn't actually happen on key press or key release. It was just something that it would input into every macro block. But now that we have a 255 character limit, we don't want to do it that way anymore. And to be honest, this stuff doesn't need to be in every macro block. So what I've been doing is I've just been putting it in one macro block. If I have room in other ones, I'll put it in there. But let's just go ahead and start off. So I'm going to paste what I had in my Dragonflight version. And you can see this is what I had in the key press portion of the sequence. So I'm already at 413 out of my 255 characters. So obviously I can't fit all of this here. So let's try to shorten it up. So I do want target enemy, no harm, no dead. But I'm going to put that in its own block. So let's give it its own block. I'm going to move this up here, and we're going to have target enemy, no harm, no dead. I'm also going to have pet attack and pet autocast on, no group growl, and group for pet autocast off, group growl. So this is basically just my surefire way of making sure that if I'm out soloing in the world, I have growl turned on. If I'm in a group, growl is turned off. So that's my pet taunt. So what we can also put in here is, since we have a lot of blocks, let's go ahead and do our call pet. So let's put our call pet. So that's as a cast sequence. So cast sequence, we have no pet, no mod. So if I'm holding down a mod key, it won't try to call my pet. No dead, and no channeling. So no channeling, so I won't interrupt a channel, and no pet to make sure that it's going to try to not call my pet if my pet is just dead, you know. So my pet has to be non-existent for it to try to call it. Then I have call pet, so it's going to call the pet that's in my first pet slot. Like here's my different pet slots, so it's going to be the one of the first one that it's going to try to call. And then I have a null. Null can be anything you want it to say here. It doesn't mean anything, it's not a spell, but what it does is, because this is a cast sequence, but you only want it to go off one time, it will stop trying to call your pet once it hits that null. This will reset outside of combat because we hit this little checkbox. So the next time you start combat, it will check this again to see if you need your pet out. What would happen if you did just a cast and then all of this and then a call pet is it would just keep trying to call your pet over and over and over again, even if it's out. So that's why we put it as a cast sequence, and we put the call pet and then null. If you wanted to call a different pet, change this number to correspond with what other pet it is that you wanted to call. So we're at 166 characters. Since all of this stuff is off the GCD, we don't want to waste this block by not having an actual ability in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put a kill command in here. That way, once it gets past the off GCD stuff, we'll enter combat with a kill command. Oh, I also want a start attack. Alright, and we're still not over that limit, so let's name this. I'm going to name it the AoE version since that's what I'm working on first. So Oak BMAE. So let's hit a save. Should see it pop up over here in a second. Alright, so this block, what I'm going to do is it's over as well. So I'm going to get rid of all of that. I'm going to keep my pet abilities over here, but I can remove call pet, and then we're under this limit. So what I can do is I can put the mod key control to pop a multi-shot if we want to throw a multi-shot out, because sometimes you'll still want to pop an extra one of those out if it's not going off as often as you would like. Alright, let's save. Now what I want to do is I want to make a priority loop. So I'm going to go ahead and make a loop. These next few abilities in my the War Within sequence were set up on repeat blocks, but repeat blocks don't exist any longer. So what I'm doing is I'm going to put on a priority loop, and that's how I'm setting up my priorities. So that's how I'm making it know what I want to cast more often. So I'm just going to start out by laying out the base spells in each one of these. So I'm going to do a Beast of Wrath, because I want Beast of Wrath to pop whenever it's available. I'm going to do a kill command. I'm not sure if people are using this talent, but I'm going to put it in here just in case. So let's put a Death Chakram. Let's put a kill shot. And some people are going to want to put this next ability. They're going to hit this themselves. So what I'm going to do is, for those of you that want this sequence to fire automatically, I'm going to put this here under Bestial Wrath, but it's Call of the Wild. So it's up to you if you want Call of the Wild to actually fire by itself, or if you want the macro to call it. What you can do is you can put it up here before your kill command, since it is also on the GCD. That way if you hold down Shift Alt, it'll do Call of the Wild instead of doing kill command in this first block. So let's hit save here. You can see the build that I picked up off of Wowhead actually does not have Call of the Wild in it. So I'm not really sure what the best build is right now. I think everything is kind of a wait and see state. But my next block is a bit of a different type of block because it has a lot of different things in there depending on what the circumstance is. So I don't think I'm going to be able to fit everything in there. But what I had in Dragonflight was this cast sequence here, right? So what this cast sequence would do is, if you knew Bloodshed and if you knew Dire Beast, then it would try to do Bloodshed, then Dire Beast, then Dire Beast, and then Dire Beast, right? But if you just knew Bloodshed but not Dire Beast, then it would just do a Bloodshed. Then after that, it would just try to do a dire beast. So what I can do is I can get this bottom part out and maybe make it fit. So yeah, so that'll fit. So let's just make a next block to be the stuff that I just took out of here. So if known multi-shot, then it'll do a multi-shot, then a kill command, then a kill command, and then a barbed shot. So that's to try to get that barbed shot laid out there a little bit. I do want to get a barbed shot and kill command up here a little bit higher. Let's say put it right after Call of the Wild. So this block, I'm going to have to edit it. For one, resets don't work, so I can get rid of that. So resets will only work if you're calling an actual in-game macro. So, but I don't need that to reset because I have the whole sequence being reset outside of combat. So what this will do is if you know multi-shot, then it'll do a multi-shot, a barb shot, and a kill command. If you don't know multi-shot, it's just going to do a barb shot and a kill command. And the reason that I have another spell after that is so I can try to spread out my barb shots. So I did not go over the character limit, so that should be good. Now what I'm going to do is just a little CYA, so a little cover your booty to make sure that different things are spread out but also firing. So I'm going to do some sequences where we have some barb shots and some kill commands in there down here, so we want to make sure that those do get off, so we're going to put them more often in our sequence. For this I'm going to do a sequential loop. I'll have it repeat twice, so when it gets to this point in the priority loop, it'll hit this and go through this twice before it goes to the next spell. So I have barb shot and kill command. I also want to do a barb shot and multi-shot. And then let's try this out and see how it looks. So let's go ahead and save it. Let's go to our key bindings. Let's do new. I will do it to my bracket. And then we'll do, whoops, I like my AoE to be on that next bracket, so we're going to put it on the right bracket. Then click save. I'll go ahead and close. Alright, so let's see how this does. I'm going to go ahead and stand in front of the target dummies, and I'm not going to target anything. I'm just going to let this sequence do it. So I'm going to hold down my key, and it did a heal on my pets just because I have that where if I'm not in a group it'll heal my pets. Right away I see that it's not popping a multi-shot right away. I can hold control and make it pop a multi-shot. But let's see if it keeps Beast Cleave up. It does not, so I'm going to want to toy with that a little bit. Alright, so it just popped another multi-shot, but you see it's doing everything else pretty well. Let's see, I have my Thrills of Hunt stacked 3 times. Yeah, the multi-shot needs to go off a little bit more, so let's go ahead and get these off of there. I also don't have explosive shot in my sequence, so let me break combat. Yep, I'm gonna have to make my pets feign as well. Oh, I see. It's this mend pet that's doing it, I think. Mend pet is on the GCD, so because that's this high up, it's keeping this first multi-shot from going off. So let's get rid of mend pet out of that. I do still want it for when I'm soloing, so let me make a block by itself just for mend pet. Now if you're in a group, then it'll skip right over this block, so let's go ahead and close that. Look at that, there is no more Death Chakram. I knew that. So let's put explosive shot in its place. Alright, let's go ahead and save, and let's try again. So it's a lot of trial and error, just like I've said. So here we go. So once again, it did take a while for that first multi-shot. But it's keeping multi-shot up, so that's good. Yeah, I kind of like this multi-shot uptime. We see that our frenzy buff is staying up. We tossed a heal on our pet again. Once again, that's because we are not in a group. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. So let's go ahead and pull our pets off. Do a couple feign deaths to break combat. Probably have to wait for these debuffs to fall off of the targets. There we go. So wake our pet back up and get over here. Alright. So now to try to emulate the single target version. Now in Dragonflight, the single target version of this was basically the same sequence, except I removed any reference to multi-shot. So we're going to do the same thing here. So I'm going to open up GSE, go to our sequence. I'm going to change the name to BMST for single target. I'm going to save it, wait until it pops up here. Then we're going to go through the sequence and get rid of any multi-shots. Now, what I will do is I will put this line in different blocks. So if you are doing a single target but you want to toss out a multi-shot, you can just hold control and it'll pop out a multi-shot for you. So let's go ahead and do that. So this line here has multi-shot in it, so instead of having multi-shot, barb shot, kill command, we're just going to put this line in. So it's going to focus on single target, and then you can throw out multi-shot if you need it. Alright, let's take a look here. We have bloodshed, dire beast, bloodshed, and then just dire beast. So that's fine the way it is. This line here is purely for multi-shot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of multi-shot and just make it do kill command, barb shot. So go ahead and save. Then down here we just have barb shots and kill commands, barb shot and multi-shots. So we're going to make this a kill command barb shot. And it's trial and error. So, and then what we're going to add is we're going to add a cobra shot here down at the bottom. So let's make a cobra shot. Alright, so we have that saved as single target. We're going to go ahead and close. Let's go to a single target dummy. Whoops, I did not bind the sequence. We'll have to bind the sequence. So new binding, single target, do the left bracket because that's just what I like to use. Close, and then go for it. Now, if for some reason some AoE came or there's a pack of mobs or whatever the case might be, you can then just pop control and that'll toss a multi-shot out, which will cause your beasts to cleave as well. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that as well. So let's get these pets off of there. I'm off of there. We'll do a little feigned S. Now finally, I did this last time too by accident. I forgot to put trinkets in. So let me go ahead and put trinkets into this. So you can choose whether or not you want to include trinkets. If you want to include them, then just add these lines. So basically what I'm going to do is I am going to copy this just so I can use the base text. We're going to change that to 13. We're going to change this to use. I still wanted to say no mod, no channeling. I also wanted to say combat. And that is so it will only use it if I'm in combat. So we're going to put 13 and 14. So 13 and 14 are what your trinket slots are. So you can just add trinkets to the different blocks as long as you have space in your character limit. Let's go ahead and save that. I did go over my character limit here, so what I can do is I can just get rid of this kill command. It wasn't necessary anyways. So let's go ahead and save. And let's check out my AoE one because I think I did the same thing here. Yep. Just get rid of this kill command. Put trinkets over here. You really don't need it in all of these blocks because it's going to go through these actions enough that it will fire off your trinkets when they're available. Now, on this tune I actually have 2 passive trinkets, so it's not really going to do anything anyways, but that's what you would do. So now, I said previously that I use a keyboard, a Corsair keyboard, to run my sequences. I've remapped my bracket keys to the G keys. I'm going to leave a link down below for Amazon so you can see the keyboard that I use. I do use a Logitech mouse. It's a pretty basic mouse. I use the G502, but I have 2 keys on the side of it as well as my sequence keys. So I can either hold the G keys or I can hold the buttons on my mouse to run through my sequence. So I'll put a link down below for that as well. Also, for those of you who are wondering why I have the no mod shift and alt, I put that in front of there because I like to put different abilities on my shift keys, shift 1 through 9. I also like to do the same thing on the alt side, so I'll put various different in-game macros here, like macros to drop a binding shot, macros to throw an ice trap, my aspect of the cheetah, my exhilaration. That way when I hold down the shift key, it will interrupt my sequence and allow for this ability to go through. So that's why I put this no mod alt and shift in many of my different sequences. You can do that if you like. You can leave it out if you like. I do suggest doing the no mod regardless, but it is your choice. But that's it. We have now built a sequence together. I hope you like it. I will post this on the GSE United Discord. So all of my sequences will be posted there. We have several other creators that post there as well. Thank you everyone who's hit the like button. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you want to help support the channel, you can hit the subscribe button. And as you've been doing, I really appreciate all of your comments. So keep that up. But thank you again, and have a great day.